Welcome back. Hour number 2 of today's Thursday edition of Bernie and Sid in the Morning. Bernie is not here. My guess is he'll be back on Monday. Great hour number 1. Jay Fiedler, former Dolphin and Jet quarterback, was terrific. We talked about, of course, the murder attempt on Brett Kavanaugh. Played a bunch of sound from that. And I also mentioned, before we get to Rudy Giuliani stopping by at 7:40, and that's going to be a great conversation. Rudy's son, Andrew, is running for governor. And we give everybody equal time on this show. All 4 men have been on: Lee Zeldin, Rudy Giuliani, Rob Astorino, and Harry Wilson. And for some reason, and I don't know why, these guys all really care about me, who I like, who I want to vote for. I can't tell you why, but they do. So Saturday night, Danielle and I are taking Andrew out for dinner to a very, very popular Italian restaurant in Brooklyn. I know Rudy knows this. So Rudy will join us coming up at 7:40. It's going to be great. But I also did mention last hour that the president, Joe Biden, while this whole deal is going on with Kavanaugh, and he's part of the reason why murderous people out there will have the opportunity to kill. He's part of the reason why, because his White House didn't admonish these people. They're still out there. These pro-abortionists, they're still out there. And Biden is yucking it up with Jimmy Kimmel. Talking about Donald Trump. He can't get Donald Trump out of his head. He can't remember the name of his own wife, Joe Biden. He's finished. It's over. It's over. I don't know if it's dementia. God forbid, by the way. I don't wish him ill. I'm not sure if it's dementia, if he's just old, if he's an idiot, a combination of all of them. He can't remember his own wife's first name, but I can tell you this. He knows Donald Trump's name. That Trump derangement syndrome is alive and well with this imbecile in the White House. Or, of course, Naomi Rosenberg has her own nickname for the president.
Creature in the White House.
Thanks, Mom. So he was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. We'll play some of this. You know, Kimmel was like, hey, if you don't mind, Joe Biden, I'm going to ask you some serious questions. And every question that Kimmel asks, of course, and the conversation that ensues is always very pro-Democrat and nasty towards the Republicans. It's not a serious conversation. It's two jackoffs wasting our time. But here, Biden on Kimmel. You know, let's play that here. Jimmy Kimmel. This is number 9. Kimmel asks Joe Biden, "Hey, is it okay if I get serious?"
Thought maybe you wanted me to just stay on Fox all the time.
You know, they're very concerned that I might not ask you serious questions, so I don't want
they really ask serious questions.
Yeah, right.
What?
I don't want to upset them at all. Do you mind if I ask you some serious questions? Because this is, unfortunately...
Not at all. I never mind having a conversation with someone really smart.
Yeah,
well, Guillermo, maybe you need to take over.
I guess he's talking about that little producer, that schmuck. Says, I'll let him take over because, I don't mind having a conversation with two smart people. Question for Joe is, where are they? It ain't you two. So then Kimmel, on the heels, of course, of Uvalde and that great speech, I know you guys beg to differ, that's fine, the great speech from Matthew McConaughey, Kimmel brings up gun violence with Joe Biden, and this is really, really where it gets intelligent. And I think Biden brings up Donald Trump already right here. This is number 10.
We were here in September of 2019, and one of the things we talked about at length was gun violence. And you said that we need to do something about this gun violence, particularly when it comes to our schools. And here we are, a couple years later. We're halfway through this year already. There have been, 27 shootings at schools? I guess, just to get into it, why haven't we done anything about this?
Well, I think a lot of it's intimidation by the NRA. And look, this is not your father's Republican Party. This is a MAGA party.
MAGA.
A very different Republican Party. And so you find people who are worried, I believe, that if they vote for rational gun policy, they're going to be primaried, and they're going to lose in a hard right Republican primary.
So it's all the Republicans' fault. And the Republicans won't vote for it because they're afraid that the backlash will cost them their positions. And really, it goes back to our MAGA country. So there it is right there. That is the first Donald Trump reference. Gun control, nothing's been done. You were a guest on this show back in 2019, 3 years ago. Why hasn't anything been done? And he blames, of course, Republicans and MAGA country. And he keeps going on with the Donald Trump stuff. Here in cut 11, he just flat out attacks Donald Trump. Here's your president.
Can't you issue an executive order? Trump passed those out like Halloween candy.
Yes, sir.
I did. Isn't that something that could happen?
Well, I have issued executive orders within the power of the presidency to be able to deal with everything having to do with guns, gun ownership, whether or not you have to have a waiting, all the things that are within my power. But what I don't want to do, and I'm not being facetious, I don't want to emulate Trump's abuse of the Constitution and the constitutional authority.
And they clap, these idiots.
I mean that sincerely, because I often get asked, look, the Republicans don't play it square. Why do you play it square?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If we do the same thing they do, our democracy will literally be in jeopardy.
I'm begging you to shut up.
I'm
I'm begging you. Yeah. So Kimmel was the first to bring up Trump there, and then, of course, Biden brings him up 2 or 3 more times. One more cut. None of it's been funny so far. They're 2 idiots. And Kimmel then asks about sensitive documents. And yes, once again, Joe Biden brings up Donald Trump.
Just a process question. When you have sensitive documents that you need to flush down the toilet, do you do that? Is that done in your office toilet, or is that done in the bathroom, in the personal bathroom area?
I call Trump.
Funny, right? I call Trump. Everybody laughs. So there you have it, folks. I played you 4 clips of Joe Biden on Jimmy Kimmel. And what he's doing there, I don't know. I mean, it's not like there's any issues in this country, right? It's not like, again, for the 100th time, you've got inflation. See Joe Biden's approval rating, it's like 28%. It's lower than Donald Trump at any time of Trump's presidency. And Biden still felt like he had the time and everything's going well enough to hang out with a late-night talk show host who's about as hateful as any politician in this country. And in the 4 cuts I played for you, he brought up Donald Trump 3 times, Joe Biden. 2022, the red wave is coming. It is coming. And it starts right here in New York. When Kathy Hochul gets her ass kicked, she's going to win that nomination. Tom Suozzi, Jumaane Williams, just not good enough. She's going to win that nomination. And whether it's Zeldin, Wilson, Astorino, or Andrew, they're going to kick her ass. That's where it starts. Then that no-good Alvin Bragg is going to get fired, just like Chesa Boudin, who's now out in San Francisco, maybe Gascon next in Los Angeles. It's all going to change in 2022. And, yes, Trump's going back. 2024, he will once again call Pennsylvania Avenue home. Biden knows it. So keep bringing him up and keep maligning Donald Trump. Blame Trump for inflation. First it was COVID, then it was Putin. Now they're back to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. And Trump loves every second of it. Free advertising. Hey, I'm all over Jimmy Kimmel tonight. I'm in this guy's head. Don't you hate that when people are in space in your head? Don't you hate that? And you want to get them out, you can't. I've got a couple of people in my head. I can't get them out. I've tried. And I act like I don't care. And I'll even say at times, I don't care. And my very next comment will be something that clearly shows how much I do care. Don't you hate that, Louis?
You have more than a couple. What did you say, 3?
Well, I've got a very large apartment building up there, so I can afford to lease out a couple of apartments, yes.
I don't care what he says. What did he say?
I don't care what he says. Well, you certainly sound like you care. Well, Bernie said that about 1,000,000 times, and he's right. So anyway, that's your Kimmel and Joe Biden highlight from last night. I hope you enjoyed that. But again, the biggest story today is still this person. I'm having a hard time calling him a murderous gunman because as far as I know, and maybe Rudy or O'Reilly or somebody's going to correct me, the guy showed up at the house with a gun. His intent was to kill Kavanaugh and kill himself, but he then called the cops on himself and never tried to enter the house. So I don't know how much of a quote-unquote attempted murder that was, but it's still scary for somebody to show up at your house with a gun and hating you to the point where they'd even consider traveling across the country from California to Maryland to do that. But a bunch of people spoke on this yesterday, including a guy that me and Bernie both like, a guy that's not a Republican. He's not conservative. In fact, he's anything but. Constitutional scholar Jonathan Turley. You got two cuts from Turley, who's really made the rounds the last 2 days, talking about this, and we'll play those for you right now. John Turley 1 and 2.
You know, a person should not have to wonder if he can both serve and survive on the United States Supreme Court. But it's getting to a point where this age of rage is putting all of our justices and judges in fear of themselves and their families in terms of an attack. And that has an impact on the rule of law. It is something that is going to discourage others from going to serve on the court. What disturbed many of us, John, about the White House response is they couldn't muster the courage to come out immediately to condemn the leak itself, to condemn the targeting of these homes, including justices that have young children. How tough is that call? Most Americans would think that would be easy for a president of the United States. It's at times like that that he has to speak for the nation. And not just speak to what's legal or what is illegal, but what is decent. What is called upon for all citizens to act in a way that shows respect and decency.
To his point, the White House's reaction to folks showing up to protest outside the Supreme Court and more dangerously outside the SCOTUS's homes. This is Jen Psaki. Peter Doocy, Fox News, asked her to basically condemn these people, and to John Turley's point, she refused to do it. Jen Psaki 4.
These activists posted a map with the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Is that the kind of thing this president wants to help your side make their point?
Look, I think the president's view is that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness from many, many people across this country about what they saw in that leaked document. We obviously want people's privacy to be respected. We want people to protest peacefully if they want to protest. That is certainly what the president's view would be.
So he doesn't care if they're protesting outside the Supreme Court or outside someone's private residence?
I don't have an official U.S. government position on where people protest. We want it, of course, to be peaceful.
Yeah, you want it to be peaceful. Bullcrap. And finally, let's not forget the guy that started all of this when he was actually hoping that somebody would do something just like this. You don't believe me? He's been serving for over 40 years. You idiots in New York keep voting this guy in. You really may want to consider voting for Joe Pinion now. What do you think, folks? You really may want to consider voting for Joe Pinion now, especially after you hear this cut from Chuck Schumer.
I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
You will pay the price, and you won't know what hit you. You know what almost hit him? A bullet. Way to go, Chucky. I mean, listen, Bernie is a lot more aggressive, imbeciles, bimbos, morons than I am when it comes to describing these politicians. He just is. I got to tell you, Chuck Schumer, lowlife. Wasn't always. Way back when, Madison High School, nice Jewish guy. There was a time when Chuck Schumer was a decent man. He's garbage. Garbage. You heard that quote, folks. You heard it. He's going to pay the price. Going to pay the price. And he nearly did with his life. Do not let that soundbite just disappear into the universe. Keep that soundbite in your head when you start making arguments for Schumer and the Democrats. More right after this.
It's Curtis Lewa, and I want to bring you some important information regarding the pandemic nursing home scandal, which resulted in so many unnecessary deaths. To shed some light on this important issue, I have Jeff Guzman here from the law firm of Krenzel, Guzman, Herbert. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me, Curtis.
Jeff, is it true that former Governor Cuomo mandated that nursing homes take in COVID patients?
Most New Yorkers mistakenly believe that was the case. However, it's not true. The state only issued guidance to nursing homes suggesting that they admit such patients, and even after the guidance was rescinded shortly thereafter, nursing homes continued to admit COVID-positive patients.
Jeff, hold on. So you're saying that these nursing homes do bear some of the responsibility for what happened?
Yes, I am. These nursing homes greatly increase the risk to existing residents. Also, nursing homes may have made financially motivated decisions to admit COVID-positive patients despite the known risk to existing residents. Then Governor Cuomo's administration underreported nursing home COVID deaths by 50%. The actual number was roughly 16,000 deaths.
It makes so many of us so angry. So you're saying that those family members can sue these nursing homes?
Yes, and my firm is representing many of them.
When you were on the air with Sid Rosenberg, the phones blew up.
They did. I think a lot of people just didn't know who to call or that their family might be entitled to compensation. I'm glad to get the message out that at Krenzel, Guzman, Herbert, we're working hard to fight on behalf of these families.
To everyone listening out there, if you or a friend lost a loved one to COVID, call Jeff Guzman and his team at KG Law today. Jeff, where can you be reached?
You can call our office at 212-227-2900 or visit us at kglawteam.com.
That's the KG Law Team at 212-227-2900 or just go to kglawteam.com. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Curtis.